Start the show yet, everybody, because Alan's loading.
Okay, that sounds.
So, Dave,
Three,
how's it going, man?
two,
Things
one.
well. And we're live. Welcome, everyone, to episode.
215, I think.
That's the one. Sure, we'll go with that.
I don't know.
So, yeah, it's it's a new year. Just starting to get. Oh, what is going on? I've gone into a new dimension. It's a new year. What can I say? I was busy. So, how's it going, boys?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. A little tired today.
Did you get the ointment?
I did, and I slathered it all over.
We talked about the privately that
area.
You needed the ointment for your personal area.
It fell off, so I was pleased. This is our second beer of 2020. Although it's going to be a second and third because I did go searching for the beer that the other boys have. I was unable to find it. So
actually, I think this is our third and fourth beer.
Is it really? Oh god.
I think so.
Dave.
Whatever.
And never leave anything with Dave. Dave messes it up constantly. But that's okay. We love him anyway. So, the beer, guys, you reveal and then I'll reveal. Go ahead. Tell us what it is.
Okay, Dave, go ahead.
All right, I'll get started and you'll probably need to finish it up. Into the Black Stout. Because, hey, who doesn't like a good reference?
Stout. It's a good reference to Firefly, I'm sure.
And it is off the rails. So we thought, hey, Vancouver area, Shane should have a reasonable chance of getting his hands on this.
You would think.
You
would think. And you've obviously forgotten about other times that we've said the exact same phrase. And yeah.
So this particular bottle, there's not a ton on it, actually. They went pretty minimal. Smooth,
very
rich, creamy.
Smooth, rich, creamy. What is the International Beer Unit?
We'll get to that shortly. The ingredients: water, malted barley, oats, hop,
boats,
yeast,
groats. Oh, groats. I heard boats. I'm like, boats? Really? That's awesome. There's a charred boat in this particular brew.
Yes. An homage to this wonderful wild coast we live on. Anyways, it's okay, so it's just a stout. So it clocks in at 4.8 in the alcoholic content.
That's still kind of remarkably.
Who's the brewery from Into the Black? Sorry,
it's low. I thought stouts were usually a little higher. I could be wrong because
is it off the rail or off the rails?
It's off the rail.
Yes,
that's what I thought. Dave said it wrong. Dave, you're fired.
Right.
My beer.
Let me make it up though. The international beer units as a final detail. The international beer units clock in at a whopping 36.
Wow. Okay. Well, the beer.
So while Shane is introducing his beer, I'm going to start pouring.
Yes, you go ahead and pour. So I picked up Howe Sounds Melle because it was a beer that I thought was cool. And,
which we are all interested in, quite frankly.
It's a honey wheat wine, and I do believe it's a seasonal. I'm not sure.
I think it is
because I didn't look it up.
Alan brought that up
because 2020.
In fact, so how long have you had that beer, Shane?
About 3 weeks.
Because I swear I've seen that on the BC liquor store shelves quite frequently. That beer.
It has crystallized honey under the cap. Or is that just the cap falling apart? I can't tell. It smells like honey, but the whole thing smells like honey. So I'm going to pour it, and I'll tell you if it tastes like honey or not. So this beer is really fragrant. So if you get it, be prepared for that. Nice. Fragrant in a good way.
So is this one? What do you think, Alan?
Oh, I just realized this is actually... Oh, this is a wax coating. That's what this is. Okay. Sorry, I just noticed on the bottle that the top piece of the bottle has got a very subtle wax cover, which is not over top of the cap.
Weird.
I don't know. It's very subtle. You can barely tell. So that explains all this wax everywhere all of a sudden. But that's okay. It still smells like a whole lot of honey. Peanut Gallery.
I am loving the smell of this.
Are you? So I'll admit I'm stuffed up tonight. My olfactory senses aren't working, so I don't smell a thing. But that's me, not the beer.
Okay, so this is definitely this is fragrant. Wow, it's definitely so. Let me read to you the side of the bottle here. The wheat wine is brewed with care to produce a complex beer with a layer of flavors. The addition of 100 kilograms of BC wildflower honey from the Honeybee Center adds earthy and floral notes with hints of sweet fruit. Wax dipped with beeswax. Oh, there we go. So that's what it is. That's why it probably smells. This bottle will develop for years. Government warning. Anyone with the last name of Dave. I forgot Dave's last name. That's it. I'm packing it in.
I'll take it.
Wow.
Last name of Burley.
Extra strong ale. It rocks it at 10%, which is probably why they call it a wine. So overall.
Now I did try a wheat wine at Beer Fest this past year. It was Moon Underwater. Had a wheat wine, and I got to be honest, I wasn't too impressed with it. I think I was expecting it to sort of like be along the same lines as a barley wine, and it just was not.
This one tastes like a barley wine. That's the thing, is it has not a very strong hint of it, but it definitely you can kind of taste that sort of yeast that's used for that stuff. So. But it's very mild, but it definitely shares some it's a cousin of a barley wine. So so overall, it is a very good aroma, has a very good taste. It has no aftertaste so far. It's very smooth. It does have it smells like a honey jar, really. It's that strong.
Wow.
But it has
I'll have to try that at some point.
So if you can find it, I would pick this up.
So if you were to give that a score out of 10, Shane, it's just you, so there's nothing to compare it to. What do you give it?
Well, if I were to compare it to a barley wine, I would say it's probably a 7.5, 8, somewhere in there. If I were to have some other similar beers that have this much love and care put into them, then I might have a better comparison. But I have no problem with this beer at all. I recommend it. I just wish that I knew more about it, because it's honey everywhere. It's like you're dipping. It's like Winnie. If Winnie the Pooh was a beer drinker, this is the only beer that he would drink. I mean, that's really what it is. He'd be like, could you imagine a raging, angry, drunk Winnie the Pooh who's like, he's run out of beer and he just like beats the hell out of Piglet, strangles, the owl. What's the owl's name? Oh my lord, I'm forgetting the owl's name. Anyway, breaks into the neighborhood of make believe, beats the crap out of people there, and then moves on to the polka dot door, beats the hell out of that giraffe. This would drive any honey lover to extremes to get their hands on it. So I just created a really cool episode for like the Outer Limits, where fictional characters from the 100 Acre Wood break into other fictional universes and cause havoc. So there you go.
Okay, so Dave,
the Pooh.
Getting back to Into the Black Stout here from Off the Rail. What are your thoughts?
Well, I was thinking it wasn't bad to start with. Now that I've had some, I'm not liking it quite so much. I'm giving it a 7. It's what it seems to have done for me, anyways, now that my taste buds are more used to it, it's kind of like it's thinned out. It doesn't have the body that I thought it did to start with.
Okay.
And yeah, it doesn't quite have the flavor. It doesn't stick with you, and I mean that in a good way. It changes after you've had the few segs of it. So it's
right.
Yeah, not quite what I was hoping, I guess.
Okay.
Still,
so I mean,
for the reference, because hey,
right,
that's always going to.
So I mean, I may not be giving it a fair shake here because I don't have a cold, but for some reason I'm all stuffed up tonight. So I think that would probably make affect my taste buds a bit, or maybe not. But I'm kind of like you, Dave. I'm finding this thing kind of thin, and it is creamy, but I mean, as far as the flavor goes, it's kind of when I have a stout, I expect it to be like motor oil, and this one isn't. It's very watery motor oil. It's got that dark color. I like that. I like the head on it. It's like when you pull an espresso and you get that sort of that crema on the top. That's what this looks like. It looks like it's got a bit of crema on the top. I really like that.
Totally.
But the mouth feel, it's just there's no substance to it, and I wish it was more flavorful in that way.
Well put. Yeah.
I would like to see more notes of coffee and chocolate and licorice with it. Certainly, I mean, I'm not going to dump it by any stretch. If I was to give this a score out of 10, I'd probably give it a 5.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting as an experiment, which we'll probably never do, but it'll be interesting to, when you're not stuffed, have you try it again and see what you think.
Yeah.
But I happen to agree with what you said anyways. Thin is a good one-word descriptor, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. So in news, it looks like Lonely Planet has named Canada's craft beer capital, and the craft beer capital of Canada is right here in BC. Dave, who do you think it is?
Craft beer capital. Well, I'm thinking of the two obvious, and I'm wondering if it's something that's just whack. So, I don't know. I'm just going to go with freaking Vancouver.
Vancouver? You would be wrong, sir. The correct answer is Penticton. Lonely Planet named Penticton Canada's craft beer capital. Penticton has approximately 7 craft breweries, and that's not including like brew pubs and that kind of thing. And that amount of breweries accounts for something stupid like one brewery for every like 2,000 people in that city, which is way less.
That's what they're basing it on?
Well, I think they're basing it on that, and also what Penticton sort of looks like. I've been there myself. I went there not this past summer, but the summer before. We were going to the Rockies, and we actually stopped and spent a day in Penticton. And actually, it was a highlight of our trip. There's just so much to do there. There's stuff for cyclists, hiking, rock climbing. If you enjoy the outdoors, there's something for you in Penticton. And their breweries are easily accessible. I went to Cannery and I went to Tin Whistle while I was there.
Okay.
They weren't much to look at, but I mean they were easily accessible, and I could see it just being sort of like this burgeoning, growing kind of place. And then as I'm reading this, I'm seeing that they've actually got something there called the Okanagan Fest of Ale, which is like a beer festival that goes on every April. And lo and behold, this year, 2020, is the 25th anniversary of it. And I'm thinking, like Great Canadian Beer Festival here in Victoria is what, 26, 27 years, and that's the oldest one in Canada. So the Okanagan Festive Ale is almost that same age, which means that they've been doing this for a long time. Tin Whistle started out there, and I think it was the mid 1980s. So that's right at the birth of the whole craft beer boom. So I think maybe that title to Penticton is probably deserved.
Well,
what do you guys think?
I don't know. I'm just thinking, if you look at it geographically, it would be Vancouver or Victoria, right? Because both towns have a ton of breweries.
Well, and it's interesting you say that, because CNN, it was last year, named Victoria actually one of the top 15 beer cities in the world.
Wow.
And Penticton didn't even make that list. So, I mean, it's all, objective and stuff. So, or subjective. So, Shane, what are your thoughts on that?
On the Into the Black?
No.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think that I really enjoy that there is a place in BC that regardless of where it is, I think it's really a cool thing, because I've been to Penticton once or twice in my life. I don't remember it that much, so I can't really say other than it's probably awesome. I'm sure there's no demons running around the streets and violent gangs of killers, wiping out the population.
Well, they have that.
Oh, well, okay. Then hands down, Penticton is the beer hole of the world.
Although somebody, okay, so in Penticton they have Mount Munson, which is right along the lake there, and what they have is the Hollywood sign in Hollywood. Well, they put up a Penticton sign up on Mount Munson. And you can, as you're driving down the highway and entering into Penticton across a lake, you can see it. And actually, we hiked up to the top of the sign. We could actually touch the sign. But apparently somebody at some point vandalized it and changed the spelling of Penticton with the O-N, changed the O into an E. So it was Penticton. Like, I don't know why, but...
That is kind of awesome, actually, when you think about it. Of all the things they could have done.
Well, and the thing is that these letters are huge, right? So they would have had to have spent considerable amount of time and resources to change that O into an E. Right.
So have you been to the Hollywood sign ever? I'm just kind of curious how big
I've never been to the Hollywood. I've never been to California, actually.
I'm just curious how the size of the lettering, because I don't remember
in Penticton or in Hollywood.
Yeah, in Penticton.
Penticton, the letters are actually pretty big, but whereas in Hollywood the signs are standing up. In Penticton, they're actually resting against the side of the mountain.
Okay. Yeah. And how long did it take you to hike up there?
Not long. You can. Like Mount Doug, where you can drive most of the way up the mountain and park, and then you just walk a little pathway up to the top.
Right.
Yeah, basically Mount Munson is like that. A little bit further. You got to walk a little bit further, but
okay. Well, I think that's kind of cool that having their own signage like that is. I mean, why not? I mean, I'm surprised Victoria doesn't have it somewhere, or Vancouver doesn't have it on one of the mountains nearby. So.
It's fun.
I think the world needs to have more fun. I think that the world this year, I think I'm recognizing that fun is no longer a thing. And that I really think that we should outlaw Dave. So, because that would be fun.
Every city should have a sign erected on a mountain somewhere, even in the prairies. Even on the prairies, if they find like an anthill or something, they should put a sign on it. Sign, everywhere a sign. blocking out the scenery, breaking my mind. Do this, don't do that. Don't you read the sign?
Well, I'm just drinking my honey wine. Wow. I had a thought, but I can't remember what it was. It had to do with something beer related that I read yesterday, but I've forgotten, so never mind. I said nothing.
Nothing.
All right, and hey, again, I'm a sad note here, or maybe not. Maybe this is a happy thing. Terry Jones of Monty Python passed away today.
What?
Maybe this is a happy thing. Yeah, screw that guy. That guy who did all that amazing stuff.
I'm not saying it's happy. It's just remember all the good stuff that he did. I mean, the guy did amazing stuff.
Yeah, well, Terry Jones, I believe he played the guy who explodes from the final Waffer.
Oh, Mr. Creosote.
He's sorry,
Mr. Creosote.
Mr. Creosote. Yeah, and he also, of course, he was the writer of the Life of Brian film.
Yes.
And you know, that entire group, dead or alive, are incredibly talented, or we're incredibly talented. And you know, I mean, the classic story about Monty Python is that they walked into the BBC and said, "We're totally going to do the show. It's going to have these crazy things that are totally all over the place, and it's going to be awesome." And then they said, "Sure, we're going to give you a season." Great. They walked out and they're like, "What were we talking about? I have no idea. Do we have anything?" Nothing. So they just did it off the top of their heads, and that's how the Monty Python.
But I mean, that is amazing. We couldn't walk into a television network now and say, "Hey, we're going to do this," and "Hey, okay, we'll give you a season."
Yeah, totally not.
That wouldn't happen now.
No. It would be like yeah, and it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. Can you shoot the entire thing on no budget and show it to us before we decide?
Yeah. We need to get like 15 focus groups in here to test.
Actually, I'm surprised you guys think we'd get that far, because I was thinking as soon as we walked in, there'd be and we started our security. Oh, yep.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, I'm Shane. This is Dave, and this is Alan. So we're here to talk about. Pardon me, sir. Excuse me. They take Alan and I out in cuffs, and they just tase Dave.
Excuse me, security. We have 3 middle-aged white men in here. I think they're cisgendered.
Although you can't tell because of our moves. Wow. It must be a new year, because we're completely just. You feel tired from our restful holiday? I mean, really? You feel tired? I do.
You look tired. Maybe you should go see the vet about it.
I should go see that was the other thing too, that today my day was kind of thrown all over the place because I had to go to the vet to have a checkup for 2 dogs. Hey, Allie, would you like to bring a dog to be on the show? Faith, bring Lily. Yeah, she's photogenic.
Not the other one.
And
also the other one a complex.
Yeah, exactly. Besides, they're also sleeping, and so today we officially have claimed this little creature. Her name is Lily. She's very warm. She must have been cuddling up, but she is not quite a year yet. She was born in February at some point, so she'll be having a birthday next month. And her mother as well, who is a sleeping ball of animal at the moment. So, but we had to go to the vet because we wanted to make sure that everything was fine and that we were not going to make a really, okay, you're out. You're out. The show's boring. All right, leave like our other viewers. And viewers. So that took like a long time today, surprisingly. So.
Right.
And then I came home
So,
and I
so
did
when
the
you
work.
take the dog into the vet just to check to make sure that it's okay for you to sort of adopt or whatever, is that kind of like taking in a used car that you're thinking of buying to the gas station for a 15-point inspection?
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, quite literally, that's what it is. Well, we were doing it just for us. It was not really. I mean, we had already been sold on the dogs themselves, but because we had, I mean, quite literally, the dogs. These two dogs, we found out about them like on the. What was the date, Allie, when you first saw them? Like December 19th. We contacted them saying we're interested, but we'd like to meet them first because you should always check the temperament of a dog of any kind. And so we went, said, okay, great, we are going to be there on the weekend before Christmas. So is that cool? Because they were at a foster in Nanaimo, and we apparently this pissed off the foster up there. The foster kicked the dogs out, and suddenly we show up saying we're here to see them, and it was no, you're not here to see them. You're here to take them. Oh, okay, all right. So we gave ourselves a couple of weeks, and then we decided, okay, we really have to get them checked out. So, but the vets surprisingly are really busy this time of year when they close over the holidays. So, but anyway. Aside from typical things with dogs, everything is fine, it seems, and yeah, so there you go.
Good.
But it took for flipping ever. Cannot tell you how long it took. But anyway, I just looked at the time. We are at time, boys and girls. So thank you all for watching. Make sure that you spread the word. Do all the fun stuff that you can do to tell people about the show. Dave said that he would send nudes to people that if they want to pass them out. He says he'll print them
We
out
will
on
hold
8
him
by 10
to it.
glossy. So 8 by 10 glossy. And hopefully that'll attract people to come to the show because, why not?
Hey.
Yeah.
And as always, Alan, take us out.